Hey, it's Dr. Larry here. I've got a great story about, I was just talking with somebody who lost 30 pounds the other day, and I want to talk with you about how they did that and see if some of the things that worked for them can work for you. But first I have to say, what a day Monday was. Thank you to everybody. We sold, we gave away 214 free copies of The Gentleman's Diet, which exceeded my expectations and what we were shooting for, and it was all on Facebook. Everybody that posted those and helped me to promote that, I really appreciate that. It was, I don't use the word heartwarming, but it felt great to have people I haven't talked to a while in grade school and high school to help me post that on their Facebook wall. I'm really thankful for that. And excited. Started to get endorsements. Got 2 endorsements already from practitioners that work with people to live better. I want your feedback. Go to Amazon and leave a review. Hopefully it'll be glowing. Give me feedback. What do you like? Don't like? I want to make this better. There will be another version of the Kindle one coming out. If you got the Kindle version, don't worry. You can get the next download for free. There's some little things that we need to fix and tweak. The basic content's going to remain the same. So, here's the call to action. Number 1, go download the book. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's on Kindle. It's $9.99. You missed the free spot. If you want to check what it's out, go to my website, drlarry.com, and download the introduction. If you like what you see, you can download more, and if you don't, then you can download the book at drlarry.com/buy the book. With the book comes 3 or 4 free things. The workbook, where I walk you through how to do these things yourself. It's a great workbook. We put a lot of thought and energy into it. The meal plans, the diet and meal plans, the 10 diet and meal plans of the guys that are in great shape, which is a tremendous resource. And then the third thing is the basic weightlifting manual. You know, just some basics on form and what to do when you're getting started. Those are 3 great free gifts for getting the book that you can get now. And then leave a review for me. So I want to talk a little bit about, you know, last night I couldn't sleep. I've been kind of manic. It's been a crazy week. I've been kind of manic. And at 5 in the morning I started writing this blog. I had a conversation yesterday with a family friend who is 60. And he recently lost 30 pounds. And we were talking about the book and what worked for him. And I find this stuff is really interesting. I always want to know, like, what makes people tick. Why did they do what they did? And, you know, how did he do it? You know, exactly what did he do? And my first question was, well, what prompted you? What triggered this? You know, because he was going like this in his weight, and then at some point he made a decision to do this. Like, what was the changing point? And he said that sometime last year he could feel that his clothes were getting tighter. And he normally doesn't weigh himself, so he stepped on the scale and he noticed that at 6'1", he was 260 pounds. That's the size of an NFL lineman. Okay, maybe a small lineman, maybe more like a linebacker. It was big. He was shocked. His reaction was he couldn't believe it. And I hear this a lot, like, the weight can creep up on you if you don't watch it every day or keep an eye on it. You know, you can turn around and be surprised that you've got an extra 10, 15, 20, in his case, 30 pounds. And it was in that moment when he saw the weight that flipped his switch. And he did action, which is really interesting because we all have alarms, right? Our body gives us signals, and those signals, these alarms, spur us to action. It's just like an alarm, you know, when you get up in the morning, and in the same way, we can hit the snooze button. And so, what's your alarm? Do you have? I know what my alarms are. Like if my weight starts going up, if I look in the mirror and I see that, you know, I'm getting a little bigger around the waist, or if my clothes get, these are all kind of alarms that trigger us. And the message is, what are we going to do about it? So in the same way, I would kind of ask you, do you have alarms? And what are the messages your body is giving you? Your body gives you messages in other ways. We'll deal with that another time. So what did he do? How did he lose 30 pounds? So he had this experience where he was in shock and he decided it was time for him to do something about it. He didn't do crazy things. I think he did 3 things that everybody watching this can do that I think are fairly easy. Number 1, he ate breakfast. A lot of people will eat twice a day. They'll eat lunch and dinner, and they think, you know, and I could see how it makes sense. Okay, I'm eating less, Uh, Therefore, I'm taking in less calories and I should be losing weight. But what happens in practice is that you tend to be starving by the time you get to lunch and dinner. If you're really only eating twice a day, you overeat. And when you only take in a whole day's calories, 2,000 calories, 2,500 calories, or if you're, taking in too many, 3,000, 4,000 calories, you take that in 2 sittings, your body has no choice but to store it as fat. Instead, an easy thing to do, which he did, he ate breakfast. We're not talking a 3-course breakfast. He says yogurt and a granola bar. I think anybody could do that. Or some, small breakfast like this guy said, to get the metabolism going. Add a healthy snack, a fruit and a protein. Later in the day, you get it going. You eat less at lunch and dinner, and ironically, even though you're eating more frequently, you consume less calories, and it's an easy way to lose weight. You're not starving. You're actually more satisfied and filling, and you're doing your body good. I mean, things like that. The reason I love that is because that's something you can keep up long term. It's not a deprivation diet. It's not a fad thing where you restrict certain stuff and you never eat what you want. That's a principle, and this is what we talk about in the book a lot, that will never go out of style. You know that it's never going to be the case that eating once a day is going to be the best way to do it. It won't. You can rest your hat on this for sure. And these are the kind of things that I want to go over in the book and share with people because they really work. So that's the first thing he did. The second thing he did, he stopped eating fast food. McDonald's. Can we all do that? I think so. What are the challenges? It's convenient. For people that work a lot in their car and are out, it's really easy to grab that Big Mac for lunch. Again, those are challenges I think people can work with. It seems like a reasonable thing that, if not stopping altogether, reducing the amount of fast food is something anybody can do. And the third thing he did was he walked. He walked several times a week. We're not talking getting on the treadmill for 2 hours a day. We're not talking CrossFit. We're not talking crazy anything. The guy just walked. And those 3 things, he was able to lose 30 pounds. Now, he's at a point, I said, well, so what's your goal? Do you have an end goal? Goals are very important, and I talk a lot about it in the book. Having a goal keeps you motivated. So he wants to lose 5 or 10 more pounds to go from this obese category. He's probably obese 1 or 2. I think the BMI is around 35, and I want you to know what BMI is. So look it up. His goal is to get into the BMI category of 30. Okay? And what that means, the healthy range is basically 20 to 25. 25 to 30 is overweight, and above 30 is obese, and then it just goes by classes after that, obesity 1, 2, 3. When you get into the obese category, this isn't just a label. We don't want to make people feel bad. Once you get into the obese category, it's associated with losing years off your life, okay? BMI over 30 is between 30 and 35 is associated with losing 2 to 4 years of your life. Over 35 is 4 to 6. It goes on and on. Over 50 is you're on average, it's associated with 10 years of life lost. So he wants to jump from obese 1 and 2, where his weight is probably going to cost him in the long run, to a category where it's not. That is a great goal. You can quantify it, so he can look at the scale and determine, has he met that goal or not? And when he hits that goal, look at the benefit. He's getting years of life back. That's a great goal. What are you living for? What do you want? This guy's got grandkids now. Kids and grandkids. I'm sure he wants to be active and play with them and be a fun great-grandfather. I'm sure he wants to be around to see them graduate college. This is important stuff. This stuff matters. It really matters. That's what we're doing here. To get right there, I am so excited and passionate about this, and I am certain of what we're doing with the book and the website and all this stuff we're putting together. We're just getting started. I want to make a difference in people's lives to get those things for them, exactly that. I'm excited about that. So what can you do next? Get the book. Give me some feedback. Let's make this better. If you have a success story, tell me about it. Let's talk about what worked for you, and things that, you know, will get you those long-term benefits of keeping the weight off. Go to the website. I'm going to be putting new content on there. I'm looking for new success stories, before and after pictures, bloggers. You know, I'd like people to contribute. There'll be a Facebook page where there's a community where people can talk about this and they can troubleshoot. Well, I did this, and this is what I was going to tell you about him. So he got to this point where what he was doing, you know, he kind of lost weight, and then like everybody, plateaued out. So what you're doing works, and then it gets you to here, and sometimes people give up, and then their weight starts going back on. Right here, all you got to do is add one new thing. Try something else. So what's he going to do? He's got bad knees from when he was an athlete. He was a pretty good college athlete. So he's going to get on the bike. He's got an exercise bike. And I bet, we didn't go into this, but I bet there's something he could do that wouldn't be too painful to take one more step in terms of eating a little bit better. Whether that's more vegetables or cutting out the chips or any number of things that can help you eat a little bit better. And then, you know, so he levels out, and then you make some changes, and then you get, you know, until you find what works for you. So there'll be a Facebook page, a Dr. Larry Facebook page, where you can share these things, and we can get more into what works for you and what works for other people, and you ultimately try things that work and find out what works for you. This is not Atkins' diet. This is not, you got to use my diet. I got to take the ego out of this. This is a process, and you figuring out, you know, what works for you. That is the gentleman's diet, because we see this. I see this as a doctor. There is no one prescription for everybody. There is no, you know, one size fits all for this stuff. It really is individualized, and you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out for you. Okay, so do those things. I've blabbed long enough. I'm excited about this stuff. Thank you again for all the success of the book. We're going to keep going with the book. I'm excited about the website, and I hope that you'll be a part of it too. Bye, guys.